How do's? Welcome to the Undead Heads podcast, episode 1, intro. So, why are we starting this podcast? I love zombie movies and games, and I'm basically a zombie myself. I just stumble along, just eating, worrying about my next meal. And also I like seeing the human reactions to a good old zombie apocalypse. We're going to be delving into some classic games, classic films, some films that are questionable. Now I've got my energy drink, my vape, took my first antidepressant of the day, so we're ready to go. Now this will be unedited, I'm not an editor, I ain't got a fucking clue about any of that stuff. There might be a few awkward silences, stumble over me words, you might hear me dogs in the background, people walking about. Is what it is. So anyway, we're going to jump in with my review of Resident Evil 3 Remake, and then we'll see how it goes. Now, I've definitely seen some hate towards this game about it not being a long game, it's too linear, they butchered the original, blah blah blah, cry about it. Who cares? It's a solid game, it's not bad at all. I did play the original, but I wouldn't say that it had a big impact on me. I was about 12, 13. I do remember meeting Nemesis for the first time and shit myself, so I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But I don't hold it up as a game that had a big impact on my youth. Nowhere near like the first time I played Resident Evil 4, which blew my fucking mind, but we'll get to that at a later time. But I did really enjoy this game. Jill Valentine was a great main character. Tough, sarky, fucking brave. I had no problem with the linear, small areas. It made exploration easy for me. You can't really get lost. You know where you're going, you know where your objectives are. And it's fun. And it's sometimes sad to see how some people fell in their final moments. Raccoon City has a great feel to it. It's a dying city. A city in chaos and panic that has fallen very quickly. It's never quiet. There's always sirens, the sound of fire, gunfire, the sound of panic in the air, I would say. And of course, the moaning of the undead. Now, I'm going to talk about the bastard in the grave, the Nemesis. He's great. I haven't played a game in ages where I got that feeling of panic, where I would tap my legs, shout at Jill, "Come on, move, you stupid bitch, dodge out the way, run faster." It was a joy, but that doesn't last through the entire game. Once the Nemesis mutates, he becomes less scary. The boss battles just become about learning his patterns. Also, before you all start biting at me and say, play Resident Evil 2, I'll get to that. I haven't played the remake, and I don't believe I played the original when I was younger, so I haven't come across Mr. X yet. Of course, there's other characters in the game, it's not just Jill. You've got Carlos. At first I didn't like him. You know, I thought he was a bit of a dickhead. But by the time we get the train moving, and especially by the time we are playing as Carlos in the Raccoon City police station and the hospital, I changed my opinion of him. He's a good character, especially when he knows Jill's infected and he does everything he can to save her. Great character. You got Nikolai, a complete dick. I mean, you know straight away from meeting him that he's involved, your typical bad Russian. I didn't feel his story arc gets completed fully, but I don't mind. I don't mind some things being left as a mystery. Just going to have a sip of the old energy drink. You got a few hours, like the captain, I can't remember his name. He's a typical Russian general We don't learn an awful lot about him. Doesn't have a big impact. I mean, I couldn't even remember his name. But he does go out like a hero. Very good ending for him. Dr. Bard, an arrogant prick. Typical Doctor in a zombie apocalypse. Think he knows everything. He's definitely involved. Knows how to cure this, but is only interested in saving himself. Complete arsehole. The gunsmith guy. Yeah, I felt for him. A sad tale. You can hear he has a sick daughter locked away. I'm not sure if I missed something here, but I didn't get a conclusion to that. So hopefully, if I have another run through, I might find out a bit more about that. Yeah, that's probably the only thing I was quite interested in that I didn't get a satisfactory ending to. But, as I said, we may come back to that. Now, I'm not going to go through the story beat by beat. It isn't a complicated story. It's very linear. It's focused on the main story. No side quests that I found. It pretty much... It's escape the city, avoid the nemesis, and then it turns into find the vaccine, kill the nemesis, and escape the city before the government / Umbrella bomb the city, Return of the Living Dead style. I have to say, as much as I love these games, I am terribly shit at them. I miss headshots, blatant headshots. I sometimes wait a bit too long to fire and get attacked, but I hope by the time I've hit a few more of these games I will improve. Could possibly become a pro zombie killer, you know, like our pal Nick Grimes. It's a typical survival horror game. It's about infantry management, not to waste ammo. Trust me, I did at one point and was pulling my hair out. But after luring the pale zombie fuckheads, I mean they are complete fuckheads, a lot of dodging, I managed to complete what I needed to get done. You'll know what it is when you get there. It's the part where you need to get the second part of the vaccine in the underground lab. Them pale zombies are a fucking nightmare. I liked finding all the locked lockers, using the lock picks, the bolt cutters. I really enjoyed that part of the game. Can't fault it. Capcom are basically experts by this point. Overall, I had a really fun time playing Resident Evil 3. It is linear. It's not a long game. It took me 5.5 hours to finish. Nemesis does end up being more annoying than scary. There is definitely a replayable factor here. You know, getting the spend points to get extra weapons, unlimited ammo, costumes, that sort of thing. So we definitely will play this again. So I'm going to give Resident Evil 3 a topless trash rating. Now, the scoring system, so everyone understands. I'm a big fan of trash from Return of the Living Dead. So I've based my rating system on her. A fully clothed trash is a rating of 1 to 2. A topless trash is a 3 to 4. A naked trash is a 5 to 6. A naked dancing trash is a 7 to 8. A naked zombie trash is a 9 to 10. Now, you might think that's a weird system, but fuck it, I don't particularly care. Anyway, as you've noticed, I've started with Resident Evil 3. I'm not playing them in order. Next will be r.e3. I'll be playing them all at some point or another. My next goal is to finish all the Resident Evil games, remakes and originals where possible. I am going to throw in a few others here and there just to spice things up a bit. So definitely Silent Hill 2 at some point. The Evil Within, Days Gone, possibly Alan Wake 1 and 2. Anything where there's a strange town, there's a virus, any sort of games like that, survival horror, would be thrown in a few here and there just to spice things up. Now onto some movies. My next goal is to create the greatest list of zombie movies ever on Letterboxd. Hopefully you guys will help in the next year or so. And then I'm going to create the top 50 greatest zombie films of all time. You can find me on Letterboxd. The name is r.e3, all lowercase. So far before this episode, we have watched Return of the Living Dead. 4 out of 5. I mean, it's an absolute classic. It's one of my favourites. If you haven't seen that, it's pure 80s gold. You need to get in on it. Virus 36 was a Spanish zombie film. Not as good as r.e3. It was on Shudder. It's definitely worth a watch. Some good acting in that, so get on it. Hashtag Alive on Netflix. Oh, sorry, Virus 36, 3 stars, 3 out of 5. Hashtag Alive on Netflix was a Korean zombie film. It was pretty good. The main actor in it, I haven't written down his name, was phenomenal. Again, definitely worth a watch. 3 stars. Dead Snow, classic. Basically Evil Dead with Nazi zombies. 3 stars. An absolute classic now. Zombie Arse Toilet of the Dead. A complete over-the-top Japanese film. Yeah, I loved it. But only 3 stars. Night of the Living Dead, 1990, 3.5 stars. Don't really need to say much about that. One Cut of the Dead, 4 out of 5. This is an odd one to me. I will probably take this off the list at some point, as it's not a zombie film. It's a zombie film about making a zombie film. It's cleverly done, but yeah, it's definitely not one that's going to make the cut. The Dead Don't Die, Bill Murray. Terrible film. Boring. Just fucking weird. Yeah, by the time at the end when the UFO turned up, I mean, I'd had a gutful. I can't watch no more of that. 1 out of 5. And Train to Busan Peninsula. Nowhere near as good as the first one. A lot more action. But still definitely worth watch. 4 stars. That will probably be it for the first episode. Almost. Not quite. I'm aiming for every 2 weeks. Any questions, or I am looking for a co-host. No discrimination here. It's open to anyone. The only thing I'll ask is please be over the age of 18. UK based if possible. Just for the timing. And have a real passion for the undead. So you can contact me at the undeadheads@outlook.com. All lowercase. Definitely interested in any questions. This is going to be a short one just to sort of get my feet wet the old whistle, see how I feel about all this. Would definitely like a co-host, and definitely any questions. The next episodes will be longer. I'm sort of aiming for 35 minutes to an hour. But yeah, this is the first episode. It's cut me some fucking slack, guys. But the real reason for this is it's more of a diary for me. I've had some personal issues, health issues, that have really limited the things that I can do. So I've decided to give this a try. Just to sort of keep my mind occupied, give me a sort of bit of purpose in life. The first episode isn't going to be great. Are they ever? I don't know. I ain't really got a clue what I'm doing, just bambling on really. But any feedback would be great. I would definitely give some more details when it comes to the movies next time. To be honest, pretty nervous about doing this episode. I haven't really got a clue what I'm doing. So I'm hoping, you know, the more you do things, the easier and better you get. So yeah, there's the first episode done. Please, any questions, contact me again at the undeadheads@outlook.com, all lowercase. A co-host would be great. To sort of flesh out these episodes, to give me someone to talk to, someone to bounce off, which I think would make a big difference. So yeah, please give me a listen, see what you think, and remember, they're coming to get you, Barbara.